So in this video, I'm going to help you decide which LiPo batteries you're going to spend your hard-earned cash on. Truck, whatever it be, they will be specifically be running either a brushless or a brushed system. Now, a brushless system and a brush system are completely different. Brushed systems are a lot cheaper, and basically they run on an iCAD or a Neamp battery, whereas brushless run on LiPo batteries. And these in front of me are a selection of LiPo batteries. So I basically start off on a things like a one cell. There aren't a lot of RC things that run on one cells, micro toys probably. So basically I start on these on a two cell, and I do a lot of indoor racing. I run Yokomo indoor YZ2s, and basically these are what I run on a 2S battery because they're small. They're you get probably about one battery will last you about 2 races, 5-minute races. So they're small and very compact. Very similar to these. Now these Nanotech Ultras, these are 4.6 and these are actually a 7.4. Now these happen to be one of my favourite batteries. Basically because of the runtime is good, they're not too expensive, and they're actually, you get about 15-20 minutes runtime on one of these batteries. Now this is a 4.6, so that's 4,600 milliamps. So that's quite a decent sized battery. Now the MAH on a battery is how much runtime you're going to get. Now this is where people get a little bit confused. So hopefully, so this is a 4.6 battery, yeah? You'll get about 15 to 20 minutes runtime on a 2 cell, and the volt is actually a 7.4. Now basically that is how much it draws to the motor. Now I need to put my glasses on this one. Now you've got the voltage and also the MAH. Now also that's two parts of the battery, but the main part of the battery, and this is why I like Nanotech Ultras, is because they have a 90% 90C draw. Now that means that it's a constant power of 90C, so that is really high. So you get a lot of punch value. The higher the C rating, the more punch value you get on the battery. So if you actually go for a lower CC rating, a C rating, you will find the MAH can be high. You may get a 4.6 5,000 MAH rating on it. Normal 7.4 because that's a 2 cell voltage. But then the C rating, it could be a lot lower, which means you get a lot slower pickup of the car. So just remember, the higher the C rating, the more power the battery has. The higher the MAH, the more length, the longer you're going to be able to run that car. And the 7.4 is actually the voltage rating of a 2S LiPo battery. So things like Yokomo's, Team Associated, Kyosho, 110 scale buggies all run on these kind of batteries. Now that's used to be my favourite, but it's really hard to get these batteries now. So just to confuse things even more, I now run these IP batteries. Now, whereas these were LiPo, these are actually Liffy. It is a LiPo, but it's actually, instead of running on a 7.4 per cell, these actually now run on a 7.6. And on your charger, you will have a setting for LiPo and Liffy. Now basically this Liffy charges your batteries a 7.6 rate, which is 2 more than on these standard ones. Now basically, as you can see, the size comparison is a lot different. They're a lot smaller, but they do pack a punch. Now these are actually on the side, let me just put my glasses back on so I can see. These are actually a 120C. Now this means these were 90, these are 120. So that's maximum, almost maximum punch you can get out of a battery, 120C. So it means they're actually, you've got, let me look on, your 4,200 milliamps, so pretty much just a little bit less than that, but your actually draw is 7.6, and you actually got a burst rate of 120C. So these are really powerful little batteries. These are quite a bit more expensive than these, but they're actually really good batteries. So for a 2S, I highly recommend these batteries. So there you go. That's what I now run on my 2S. So not only can you get these all in 7.4, 7.6 2S batteries, you can also get them in stick packs. And what I mean by stick packs, this is exactly what I mean. Stick pack like that. Now these are good for things like your BMAX 2. They basically run a long chassis, so these are good for things like your axial Rafe if you're running a 2S. This actual one, which is a power plant, which are also a really good batteries. I run 2 lots of these. I run some in 4S as well. I actually run this inside my SR4 motorbike. It fits beautifully in there, nice and compact. It's actually a hard case, so it's really a good battery. And that's only a 45C, but on a single gyro mode wheel, it actually is really good. It's not too much power, even though I can run 3S on that. 2S is just about fine, and his stick pack is actually a really good battery, and it's protected, and that's what I like about my LiPo batteries. So that's the 2S batteries, which I recommend. Let's have a look at the 3S. On the 2S, now we're going on to the 3S. Basically, 3S, this is where it opens up. There's an awful lot of different 3S batteries on the market, which you can get. Anything from these Overlanders. These are a really good battery. It's the when you go to 3S, it becomes an 11.1 volt 3S, which always means 3S. So these Overlanders are a hard case, very good battery. They've got a 5,300 mAh, so it's got quite not bad run time. But the only thing about these, they've only got 65C discharge current rate. So basically, they do have quite a bit of punch, but not something as much as, let's say, these Overlanders, which have got 120C rating. So there's a lot more punch to these batteries. But these are quite a good battery. The good thing about it, it's a hard case. It's running on a Dean's. My thing with Dean's, I'm not really too up on Dean's. I am when it becomes 2-cell. That's fine because it's not a lot of voltage in there. But when you start getting up to 3-cell, 4-cell, I really kind of recommend moving off the Dean's into something like a Traxxas or another kind of connector. But I'll get into that later in the video. So yeah, so basically these Overlanders are a very good battery. They're not that expensive. You've got average kind of runtime. You've got not bad 65C rating, so it's not a bad battery. So I kind of do recommend those. I actually do run these. Obviously I run a 6S in my Traxxas X Max, which gives it plenty of runtime, probably 10-15 minutes, and got quite a lot of burst punch on it, so they're quite a good battery. So I do kind of recommend these ones. So that's the Overlander ones. So these ones, it's Black Magic, this is, and I actually used to run these also in my Traxxas when I first got my X Max. These are actually very good, but again, they're quite hard to get hold of. So basically, this is a smaller one. We've got a 2,600 mAh, milliamps per hour, but they're running only 30C. So there's not that much punch to them. And what you do find is that they actually run out of punch. So when you're buying a lipo, you want to try the MAH to get as high as possible, the C rating as high as possible, and obviously you're stipulated by your voltage on how many, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cell battery. So they're okay. So going back to the 3S batteries, so I like the Overlander ones, but two of my favourites in the 3S category are basically, yet again, are these Nanotechs. Now basically these, as you can see, these Nanotechs have been well used, and basically they're a 6.4, so big MAH, a lot of power to them, a lot of runtime, also 3S, so running the 11.1 volt, but they're actually running a 80C discharge, so basically quite a punchy battery. They are a soft pack, but these have been one of my favourite batteries, and I have probably about 6 of these, which I also run in my Traxxas X-Max and also my Lossy DBLXE. So these are also a very, very good battery, but the only problem with these, again, they're really hard to get hold of, but if you can get hold of them, I highly recommend to buy them, because the weight of them, a lot of things, if you're going to buy a battery, if you buy a battery and it comes out really light, you know it's not going to be a good battery. What I'm talking about there is, if you look at these Zippies, now these are 4000 mAh, they're a 30C discharge, and they're also a 3S battery, but that weighs nothing. You can hear it weighs nothing. They're really, really light. Now I got these when I bought a second-hand truck, and somebody supplied me with these, and to be honest, I wouldn't waste your money on them. They're absolutely useless. There's just no power to them. So in comparison to these Nanotechs, I wouldn't even look in. I'd buy these 10 times over. I'd rather have 2 of these than 4 of these Zippies. So I really don't recommend these Zippies for running your RCs. Maybe in a short strut like something running a like an SCT short strut 110, they might be okay, but for big RC cars, I'd forget it. They don't do the job. So highly don't recommend these two. I recommend the Nanotechs. These ones are actually Florians. These are also one of my favourite batteries. These are also running a, what are we running here? We're running a 6000 mAh, and these have actually got a 80 to 120C. So these are also a real good punchy battery. Medium price, they're not as expensive as the likes of the Traxxas LiPo batteries. They're about half the price actually, and they're really good. So I hugely recommend the Florians. I actually got 2 styles. I've got these one, which is the big 3S, which actually runs in my DBLXE and also my Traxxas X-Max. I run 2 of these, but I also run an individual one as well, which is still a 3S. It's got a 5500 11.1 volt, 35C, so not a big discharge, but I actually run this on all of my FPV stuff, so I don't really need any punch power or big discharge rate. So also a brilliant battery. Unfortunately they're not hard case, but the problem is when it's not hard case, when you do have quite a few bangs and this, that and the other, you find that the batteries start to puff, and unfortunately once they start to puff, they're on pretty much on their last leg. So you really need to start getting rid of and buying some new batteries. And so hopefully this video covers most of the batteries that you can buy, and you'll be able to make up for your own mind which ones are the good ones to buy and which ones the bad ones to buy. So that's 3S batteries. These are my favourite 3S batteries. Now let's go and have a look at the 4S. So we've talked about the 2S, 3S, hard pack, soft pack. Now let's talk about the majority of what people run in their large scale RC is the 4S. Now basically, whether that's in single 4S, I run a single 4S in my RC8. I run a hard pack single 4S in that, which is a fantastic battery. protected hard case, which is good. But then I also run in my Lossy DBLXE and also my Traxxas Twin 4S, because this one, if any of you watch my videos, you'll have seen that I converted my Traxxas X-Max version 1 into a version 2 with 8 SESC and upgraded wheels, tyres, etc. But you can watch that in another video. So basically, what do I run for 4S? So what I will start off first of all is what I don't run and why I don't run that, and on to what I am running now. So first things first, these Power Plant Peaks lipos, hard case, really light. When you buy them you think 4S should, like I said about 3S, should be quite a weighty battery. If you've got a weighty battery, you know that the cells are quite a solid made battery, but if they're light, which this is unfortunately, it's a 5000 mAh, so it's got not bad runtime. Remember, you're running twin of these, especially in the big 1.5s, so it's okay. Ideally you want to run, when you're running 1.5 scale things, you need to get up to about 8000 mAh, and as I say about the mAh, that's actual runtime that you get from the battery. So the more mAh you can get on a 4S, the better. So this is 14.8 volt, obviously 4S, 5000 mAh, but it's only a 45C rating, so you'll get really good punch, but then it'll just die out. And that's because the discharge on it is only 45C. Now, I'm not going to go all over that again. So the discharge is too low for this kind of RC. If you're running a smaller truck that just runs 1.4S, it might be okay. But you will find that because the discharge rate is so low, your power will pack off. It's almost like having a turbo car and then a turbo not working. That's a good way of summing up discharge on a battery. So these are okay batteries, they're cheap enough, but I don't really recommend them. So moving on to the next ones, which I love again, is the Turnigy batteries. Now I have had these for years, and I mean I've had them for years and they have never let me down. In fact, this is all I ever used to run on my large scale RCs. Now these are a 5000 mAh again, so not massive runtime on them, but enough I found for them. So basically these are actually an 80C discharge, so this is a really good battery. It's an awful lot of weight to it. It's almost twice as heavy as these ones here. Now I run these on both my 1.5 scale cars again. Basically this is a great battery, but along with things like these Nanotechs, they're really hard to get hold of again. And I live in Jersey in the Channel Islands, and so trying to get any kind of sort of lipo is bad enough anyway, but trying to get these Nanotechs and the Turnigys, they're just impossible to get hold of. I did manage to get some, but they turned up like this. Now these should be the same batteries, but as you can see, they're completely different size. They're compressed down, still 5000 mAh, and still a good discharge rate on them, but they're a lot smaller. I don't know why that is. Perhaps with the technology and stuff, is how they produce batteries and stuff. It's actually a way that they can shrink them down and get more power into them. I don't know. Probably the way the world goes, everything's getting smaller and lighter. So Turnigy, great battery, highly recommend, but it's really hard to get hold of. So if you can get them, buy them. That's what I recommend. So something new that I've actually started to run just recently are these. Now these Z-Power are a beautiful battery, and I know you think a beautiful battery, how can a battery be beautiful? Well, it is. It's a hard case. It's a 3S battery. We've actually got a 5200 mAh. Put my glasses on again. It's discharge of 80%. So 80C, sorry. So 80C is pretty good discharge rate for a battery, and really good for 1.5 scale or singularly in a buggy. So these are really good batteries, and they're quite weighty. So basically, what have I got on here? I've got a 80C 3S battery pushing out a 5200 mAh. So I can run two of these quite easily in any of my 1.5 scale buggies or cars. Ideally, like I said before, the MAH should be a lot higher, but the higher the MAH, the higher the price goes up, and the higher the C rating, the higher the price is. Obviously, because that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the power of the battery. You want weak batteries, you buy cheap batteries. So, but these, I haven't used them yet, but I'm going to take them out for a run this afternoon and see how they hold up. They come really nicely packaged. They come with all the new balanced connectors. It's all quite nice and protected like that, which I do like. Don't like the Dean's batteries connectors, sorry. So they're going to go. So there it is, guys. A little sum up of the batteries that I use with all my stuff. And any of you that watch that videos, you can see I run all sorts of stuff. So hopefully, batteries are very confusing, but the last thing you want to do is go out and spend an awful lot of money on batteries and find out that they're not the batteries for you, and that the actual batteries that you bought are the wrong ones. So hopefully this can give you a little idea as to what you need to look for when buying batteries. So first things first is what cell you're going to buy, what cell you're running, whether it be 2-cell, 3S, 4S. Important thing. Next one is going to be your discharge rate. The higher the discharge, generally the better run power punch you're going to have on that battery and on that RC truck. And then the final one is actually your MAH, and that's your milliamps per hour, and that is your runtime. The higher all of these settings are, the better your batteries are going to be. So don't tend to settle for a 40C or anything under a 50C rating, especially on big things, because you just won't be happy. And as I said, batteries are so expensive. It's easy to buy the RC trucks and this, that and the other, but it's actually filling, running them like anything. You can buy the stuff, but it's actually having enough money to buy enough batteries to run your RC trucks. So, okay guys, well, as always, any questions, anything you want me to ask, try and answer about the batteries and this, that and the other, please comment in the box below, or otherwise like my video, subscribe, and look out for more videos that are coming. Not so much on the tutorial side of it, but more on the bashing side of it. So until next time guys, thanks for watching and tune in next time. Cheers guys.